Although I wanted to show that first foray into Genesis without any kind of, you know, reading or update, and show how easy it was, as I've been told how easy it was. Went back through and I looked at the entirety of the documentation from beginning to end, and started to play around with more settings, and just kicking the tires even more. What I found is that the language is quite easy to work in, quite easy to understand. Obviously it's Python, but the packages and naming conventions all make sense. The other thing that's really cool is, be able to generate a scene. Really took, 10 lines of code and not much more. So it's super exciting to see that, much easier to work with. And I've kind of looked through these files to figure out what the actual description looks like in XML. So that's also cool. So many cool things going on here, too many to name, but I will, start with a few things. One of the first things that jumped out at me was the ease of language and good descriptions. I don't know what it's going to take to get to the point of really training locomotion policies and all the things that we used to do in, say, a ROS2 like behavior trees and SLAM algorithms and all those things. And so motion planning, I haven't actually kicked the tires on this yet. I've read through it, so we'll see what it does and how it works. But the interesting thing here is it can be run on a Mac, which is going to change my world completely. If you saw my setup, you would see that I have a Linux box. I have a dual boot Windows machine with Linux running on it. I have my Mac, and I have Mac running ROS2, so that I don't have to have a million laptops with me on the go. And I obviously work for Amazon, so I have my versions of Linux running in the cloud that I can just log into when needed. But that's for work. That's not personal. So imagine how much this would cost if it was like a personal thing. And so personally, I spent thousands of dollars on this stuff. So and then I've used them all, Majuko, you name it. So here we are. You can switch to metal, and that's if you want to use Apple Silicone. And then the logging level, you can switch that. The themes, you can switch the themes. I noticed that gs underscore backend dot GPU didn't resolve, but when I switched it to gs CUDA was just fine. So maybe that's something that you can use in an option. It seems like CUDA was running when I did that. So I changed the theme to light, and let's just run the hello world again. That's what runs. Compiles. And the speed in which this is happening, device memory usage, just super cool. Super cool. And here I can move this whole thing around. Very responsive. And you see if in more complex scenes in the Franco robot, I'll take a look at the description of the robot and kind of drop in and check out what's going on there. Precision, let's change that to 64. Try this again. And I like that dark theme better. So I'll play with all the settings, see what's going on there, and see what I can do. Let's change debug to true, and just to see what all is going on. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Okay. So with debugging on, obviously this takes a little bit longer to build, and I also changed the precision, so who knows which caused this to take longer. I'll probably do them one at a time, see what it was. Imagine it could be a little of both. So okay, it's compiling. Yeah, it's much longer, and I obviously, being who I am, will see if it's the precision changing. And what does precision level actually mean? I need to find out exactly what that means. But then, same thing, you can create a scene, you can, change the field of view of the camera. So many things you can do. I'm gonna have to look through the just package in general and just try to understand all the things that are going on. Highly complex, but yet simple. So let's see what happens here. Okay, and frame rate did drop down a little bit more. So I could say image, shadow, face normal, world frame. So here, that's the link frame is on. So I can see, oh man, that is so awesome. So I'm excited about this whole thing. The simplicity in which it took to make this happen. I'm going to turn that debug off again. So I actually want to just play with the settings a little bit more. And then, obviously I'm going to go through all of these and maybe I'll record them, maybe I won't. I think this is so easy, there's no need for me to record them. But since no one else has yet, I think I will, just to start with. Yeah, so here are the I for shortcuts. I can reset the camera, rotation, A, that sounds cool. Let's rotate that camera around. Sweet. I can turn off shadows. Face normal. Oh, amazing. I am super stoked that this is this easy. Using so little memory, which is usually the issues. I can't run this simulator on other devices that I might have. So it'd be easy to spin up a container, run this on a GPU-backed instance, or even a 24-hour Mac OS instance. I haven't tried that yet. Actually, I haven't tried Mac yet. I know it works. I've seen others live demo this, but there we go. So let's make the scene a little bit more complex. So this is straight from. I'm not writing this code. This is from the example. I will spend a lot of time writing code, but at this point, this is just, hey, what does it do? And just a couple of days old, so I'm doing what you're doing, which is kind of kicking the tires and trying to figure out what goes on. I said that a lot. Maybe I'll stop saying that. So here you can see you can change gravity, which is interesting. We can do this in outer space. Sounds like we can do this underwater as well. So there we go. And so if I did that, and I can see camera rotation, all that thing. I can save images if I want, so I can just S and then save and call that test, whatever. And there's an image, and we got a video and all that stuff. I'm gonna change gravity. Let's change it to let's see, -2. Run that again. And then we have to obviously run through and look at this XML file and see what's actually happening back here. Switch this to a URDF file, see what's happening with that. A bunch of things. But for now, we're playing. There we go. There it is. Yeah, pretty amazing. All right, I'm trying to keep these short because there's no point as I'm going through these. I will make them longer as necessary. One of the things that I found interesting, if you look at the documentation, is this. Here are some primitives that you can create, just like you would in Gazebo or wherever else. But then I can position this in code pretty simply, and you can do that in all the other Isaac Sim and wherever else. But this is the simplicity in which the convention is set. So it's Quaternion, scale it, U-learning goal, all that stuff. And then, like I said, it supports Majuco, URDF, meshes, STLs, all the stuff, GLTF. USDZ would be nice, but who cares? So we can just deal with that later. And then you build a scene, and then here we are back to that visualization and rendering. So I'm going to stop this one here, and the next one I'm going to control the robot and see what we can do there. And then sometime after I'm done with all of these, I'll come back around and add Gen AI, like I like to add to all of my robots, to this entire stack. I want to see also if we can bring in real cameras for real camera views. I don't see that here. I think I didn't read anything about that yet, but I also just skimmed. It wasn't really deep reading, which I'll do at some point. Okay, thanks for watching part 2.